Hey everybody, I wanted to send a follow-up video from the Lunch and Learn from last week. First of all, I want to thank everyone who attended. Daniel, Jimmy, Tracy, and I had a lot of fun putting together that presentation and doing it last week. We got a lot of positive feedback, but one of the questions that I got a few times was at the end of the meeting, I shared, make sure you understand what your client's operational or organizational objectives are. In the case of Voya, it was cost savings, manager satisfaction, and reducing time to fill. The question, though, that I'm getting is what happens if the client doesn't actually know what their organizational objectives are? So let me actually clarify. I didn't just ask Voya, what are your organizational objectives, and wait for them to respond. And they responded with those three things. I led them to those three things. And the way that I led them to those three things was sharing with them before asking the question of what other organizations like them are interested in and what are some of their organizational objectives. In this case, I led them to those three organizational objectives. I said, in most cases, I see organizations are interested in three major things, one being cost savings, two being ensuring quality, and three, reducing risk. So what is important to you as an organization? And I left it there. And the way the conversation went was cost savings was their number one priority. Behind that came manager satisfaction. And then behind that came reducing time to fill. We worked to those three things through a series of conversations and a bit of a back and forth. They didn't just come to those three things. I had one with an organization today. Alyssa and Katie and I had a meeting with Shell, and they were talking about some organizational changes that they were going through. And I said, that's super interesting. Sounds like you have a lot on your plate. I often find that organizations are making those changes for one of a couple things. One is going to be to reduce risk or drive cost savings. What is important to you as an organization? And he says, actually, the number one thing is to drive simplification. And then the number two thing is to drive cost savings. And we went on to talk about that for a little bit. But again, I didn't just say, well, why are you doing those changes? Because it's too open-ended of a question. So you have to provide guidance. For those of you who read the Challenger Sale, you'll know that we lead with insight. In this case, we're leading with insight with what our other customers are doing, and then leading them in some cases to the responses that we want. I never ask a question that doesn't provide people with the guidance of the answers that I'm looking for. Now, they may respond in a completely different way that I'm not ready for, and that's okay. And as I'm asking the questions, we'll work our way through that and understand, well, that's interesting. I don't actually hear that a lot. Can you share why that's important to you and your organization? Again, if I don't have an answer, I have an answer ready to go. And what I want to do is understand why that's important to them so I can understand. So then again, we're starting with the why. Why do they want this contingent workforce program? Why do they want this EOR or AOR program? What's the why? Let's work our way backwards. So that's how we need to be working with each one of our clients. You need to be leading with insight, understanding the why we're here, and then we can start putting together the what services and solutions we need to. So I hope that helps. If anyone has any questions, please reach out to me. I'm happy to role play these things as you're working with some of your clients. This is a really important concept. We have to know the why our clients need our support. So anyways, good luck. Let me know who needs some help or support as you're working through this with each one of your clients.